Hey there, welcome to my Twitch stream and my Twitch channel, my first broadcast. Thanks for being here. My name is Davey. I am MKDVB, and today what we were just listening to was a little sequence that is going to be like the foundation of my next synth jam. Hopefully I'll get that done in the next week and a half or so. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring these two pedals here, the Cooper FX Generation Loss and the Fairfield Shallow Water. I've also added the Boss RV500 reverb pedal over there. All of it's going to be processing sounds coming from the Modal Cobalt8x. And yeah, and I guess I've also got this handy little book here just to fill out the scene. So yeah, let's get started. Let's dig into this. Here's the patch that I was playing. This is what I sampled for my synth jam, live synth jam. I sampled it into my Instrual loop bod. So it's been transformed a little bit. When I do the jam, you'll hear it won't be exactly like this. But this was kind of the base patch for it that I used. I'll let it play for a second. But we heard in the intro, I was playing it in the intro. So it's based off of a preset that came already loaded here on the Cobalt. And the preset was called Boards Pad. No prizes if you guess why it's called Boards Pad. Let's go ahead and pull up the original pad though. I pull up right now. There we go. Whoa, that's kind of a nice little hiccup there when you're changing patches. I don't know, you can do program changes, so I guess if you wanted to program something like that in as part of your sequence or modulation or performance, that might be kind of cool. But so a boards pad, it's a pad, so it's got a really long attack time and stuff, and so it's not, the sequence doesn't sound the same at all, of course. So the first thing I did to it was I turned down the attack. So here's the semi-original boards pad with just the attack turned down, or just turn down to 0 so you can hear it fully. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I should have just left it at this, not even mess with it. So yeah, I stuck a reverb on it using the internal reverb engine, put it further back in the room or in the cave or space or wherever. I probably changed the filter response a little bit. I added a lot. I maxed out let me see if I maxed out the drift here. No, I put it up to 80. So I kind of do like a lot of drift in my sounds if you're familiar with my music. And so I just thought it might be kind of fun to just take it and send it through, turn off the internal FX and send it through these two pedals, one by one, and just kind of compare the two. I pulled out my Boss RV500, and so I prefer to use this virtual editor, and I'm running this on my Windows 10 laptop, and yeah, this is how I prefer to interface with the pedal if I'm doing anything more than just kind of scrolling presets. Okay, so we have our reverb. Let's go ahead and get back to our setup here in live time. And this is the dry sound. Let's take the reverb off. And we're going to go with the generation loss first. So let's go ahead and activate it and see what it sounds like. Let's go quick one through the pedal real quick. It's got noise, a noise knob here. So it's got two different versions of noise. Apparently the first version was a static white noise, which you can find here on this knob anywhere to the left of noon. of the original generation loss had a noise mod, which sent the noise to a delay line instead of to. That's what that sounds like. Using the low pass to kind of take care of that. And speaking of low pass, so it's got a low pass and a high pass here, which is something that I really appreciate. If you turn the noise knob to noon, that turns all the noises off. I appreciate that it has both the low pass and the high pass. A lot of effects pedals, like for instance this one, they will only have a low pass filter. In this case, it's a low pass gate, but they don't have a high pass. And so, you know, when you were sitting here just working on this one synth and one sound or just jamming, like kind of a sparse jam, then that low end is beautiful, right? But once you start working up a track and you start adding more and more elements into it, you don't want each new element to be adding more and more low end because it just gets muddy. And so I really appreciate the fact that this thing's got a high pass filter in there too. We can make that bass disappear. Right? And so I can foresee, for instance, if I'm in a situation where I'm jamming with my hardware and I don't need a warbly wobbly sound like this thing wants to give me, I can just disable all that, right? Turn this off and just use it as a high pass, low pass filter set. And it's really the only pedal or even effect unit I have that allows me the capability of filtering both the low end and the high end down, shaving it off a little bit. So it's got those two there. It's got this gen knob, which is the sample rate basically. And so you can and the wet knob. I like the fact that you can combine the two because this will allow you to get some chorusing going on, especially if you change this a little bit. So that kind of gives it some kind of ambience already without even sending it to the reverb pedal. Yeah, I liked it about there. Yeah, maybe just tone down the reverb a little bit. Add a little white noise. I'm gonna go ahead and high pass the wet signal a little bit, just because I have the dry signal in there too, and so there's no reason to add more low end. Let's try the noise mod. It's too crackly for me. I wish maybe there's a way to turn down, lower the volume on the noise mod. That'd be nice. Okay, so let's see what that sounds like sent through the loss here. Yeah, it's pretty nice and warm and vibey, you think? Just to finish our discussion here of the features on this thing also has some aux functions. So if I press this function button here, it will cycle through the different auxes. So the first one is the tape stop. If I turn down the dry signal here, all you hear is the tape stop. Now, I don't know if you can hear that. If I turn up the volume a little bit on this. The tape hasn't quite stopped all the way. It's still kind of rumbling, and I've used this to basically make a bass line loop before when I was jamming on my own. And so I find this tape stop function really handy. I really like it a lot because it doesn't just stop the tape, but it kind of keeps this low warbly wobbly thing. We can even emphasize that. trapped in this dungeon. Let me out. Yeah, that's cool. I like that sound. But here, let me go ahead. Let's resume our normal broadcast here. And as you can see here, all the parameters still work on the effect, even if it's in the function. And you can bring in the dry sound over the top of it, so it's really handy. You can do a lot of things with this pedal other than just warbly wobbly stuff. So let me adjust the volume back, and then next function. Let's go on to the next function. Number 2 is tape warbler, I guess. It's what it sounds like to me. It's like it's just somebody's eating your tape. And let's see here, third function. So it's like a spectral drone going on in the background. It's kind of neat. What happens if we warbled it up? That's the noise. Okay, that's other noise. And I passed it. You can also add like a little resonance just to, so I mean, it's got, I'm sure I'll make use of it. Moving on, let's go ahead and find a good, maybe too much warbly though, huh? I mean, that sounds pretty good. What does it sound like dry? Yeah, I kind of like that. Just found it by accident. Is it too warbly? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Is it too warbly? Oh yeah, I don't know. I like it. So yeah, that's the Cooper FX generation loss. And this is probably my all-time favorite guitar pedal effect. I have a lot of delays and reverbs and stuff. A lot of them are more kind of, they're more functional, like for live jamming and stuff, than they are kind of for a mojo vibe. Like, oh my god, I love the sound. The Shallow Water is one that I just love the sound because it just makes synthesizers kind of come alive a little bit. I mean, my first real instrument that I studied was saxophone, and that instrument is as organic as your breath. I don't know what it's going to sound like in the microphone over the stream. Hopefully that didn't sound too horrible or too creepy. But in any case, so saxophones are really organic instruments. Anything that you play with your hands or your mouth or anything that's kind of like a quote unquote natural instrument is going to sound kind of organic because it's based on what you're putting into it. And synthesizers, even though they offer so many other just mind-numbing possibilities of where you can go with the sound, trying to get drive that kind of organic quality to the sound is a little bit harder than it is with a natural instrument. And that's where the Shallow Water really shines. It can be kind of subtle sometimes, but I always notice it when I turn it off. So this is coming from the Shallow Water side, and you can tell because if I do this, sorry, this button is really hard to push in unless you're using your foot. Shallow Water, I love this pedal, but one of the things that I wish could be fixed on it is that noise. You hear that line noise, it's a high squeal. I think it's around 3 or 4 kilohertz. So yeah, I think it's around 3 or 4. unfortunate. You can get rid of it if you, or not get rid of it, really, it really requires careful gain staging. So if I turn down the volume all the way, you hear that it's pretty loud. So now you can hear the line noise is a lot better. Yeah, you know, so you just kind of have to mess with the gain settings a little bit, and yeah, that usually takes care of it. It also has some internal jumpers that allow you to change the configuration. Right now, because I'm using the Vitas preamp that has a built-in standard return, I've configured this to basically behave like a guitar pedal, but usually I have it in line mode so I can use it with synthesizers directly. So here's the dry signal, and then so if I open up the low pass gate all the way, right here it's not real happy about that. So let's set it to about I love low pass gates, and I love the low pass gate here on the shallow water. I think it gives a different quality to the attack. Let's just do everything at noon, except for the low pass gate, and just see where that gives us. What that gives us. Just messing around with these knobs here. Oh, that sounds pretty good to me. It's a little dark, huh? Darker than the Gen Loss. Should we go back and forth? Let's do it. Turn the volume a little bit there, because like I said, one's louder than the other, it's going to sound better. Here's the shallow water again. Let's go back to Gen Loss. I don't know. Which one do you like better? Gen Loss, shallow water? None of the above? They have different kind of they have versatilities in different areas. So like this one can just do a lot more. I don't know if it's important to you, like if things are analog or digital, or if one's more pure than the other. For myself, I think I do prefer analog, but I'm okay with digital too. I mess with digital, and like I love my mono machine, even if I might not keep it because it's going for crazy money now. So this is a digital pedal, so it has Tom at Cooper FX just added a lot of functionality with code, and this is an analog pedal with circuitry and stuff, and so it's just a different nature to it. So this has a lot of versatility in what it can do, like the different functions. But like for instance, I might like to be able to adjust the wow and the flutter here a little bit more, in a more deeper manner than what knob each can allow me to do. Whereas on the shallow water, I can adjust how fast the vibrato is, the rate is, but then dampen how often that happens. So, you know, so it's not crazy. And this one I can't do that. Either I have to have crazy, full on crazy, or less crazy. But there's no way to kind of increase craziness, but then kind of mitigate it a little bit so it's not overpowering. And so, but you know, I can do a lot of other things. So yeah, let's switch back over to the boss. Oops. Also, it's kind of unfair because this one I'm not high passing what I'm setting to the boss here, so that low end of the melody is coming through and it's really just hitting the spot for me anyway. What's your thought out there? Yeah. You know, let's be a little bit more fair. So here, you know, I high passed it. So let's just send it to the reverb. That noise is a little bit too much now, though. Everything's too much. So it was the kind of the high pass I was making it sound like not too much. We can turn it down. We can turn on the flutter. So that will do it for today. thanks for tuning into my Twitch live stream, my first one. Yeah, there aren't that many sound design Twitch streams, I've noticed. So be sure to follow me if you want to catch my next one. I'll be trying to do them. I'm going to be doing them once a week on the weekends. You can check out my schedule on my Twitch channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you next time.